What if I told you that the person who religiously saves 20% of their income will likely end up poorer than the person who strategically spends 120% of theirs? This isn't about being reckless with money. It's about understanding a fundamental truth that separates the wealthy from the stuck. Your financial habits are hardwired to your identity, and if you're stuck in a scarcity mindset, every dollar you save is actually reinforcing the very beliefs that keep you financially limited. The math will shock you. The moment you see a course priced at $3,000 or consider investing in a business mentor, your amygdala floods your system with cortisol and adrenaline. Your palms sweat, your heart rate spikes, and your brain screams danger. This isn't about the money itself. It's about your nervous system protecting an identity that equates financial security with survival. Your brain literally cannot distinguish between a saber-toothed tiger and a growth opportunity that requires capital deployment. This is identity homeostasis in action. Your nervous system works around the clock to maintain your current self-concept, and if you identify as someone who saves money, any decision that threatens your savings account triggers the same biological response as a physical threat. Your body releases stress hormones because spending money on growth violates your core programming about who you are and how you stay safe in the world. I know someone who saved $47,000 over 8 years while working the same job and living in the same small apartment. Meanwhile, 3 of his college friends invested aggressively in their skills, experiences, and businesses during those same 8 years. One spent $30,000 on coaching and courses, building a consulting practice that now generates 6 figures annually. Another invested $25,000 in a franchise opportunity and now owns 4 locations. The third borrowed money to start a digital marketing agency, spending far more than he earned for 2 years straight. Today, all 3 friends earn more in a month than my acquaintance saved in his entire 8-year period. Your brain's ancient wiring treats money like a finite resource that must be hoarded for winter. This made perfect sense when humans lived in caves and food scarcity was a real threat. But in today's economy, this same wiring creates a psychological prison that keeps ambitious people playing small. Every time you choose to save instead of invest in growth, you reinforce the neural pathways that tell your brain you're vulnerable, that resources are scarce, and that your survival depends on accumulation rather than creation. Each dollar you save literally rewires your brain for limitation. Neuroscientists have discovered that repeated behaviors create myelin sheaths around neural pathways, making those thought patterns faster and more automatic. When you consistently choose safety over growth, you're building superhighways in your brain that lead directly to scarcity thinking. Your neurons become hardwired to spot threats in opportunities and to seek security in stagnation. Millionaires view money as a tool for expansion, not a security blanket to hoard. They understand that money sitting in a savings account is money that's shrinking in real purchasing power, while missing countless opportunities to multiply. They deploy capital strategically, knowing that the right investment in skills, relationships, or business ventures can return 10 times the initial outlay. Their brains are wired to see money as potential energy, not stored safety. The saver identity creates self-sabotaging behaviors that resist exponential growth opportunities. When you identify as someone who saves money, you unconsciously filter out information about investments, dismiss business opportunities as too risky, and convince yourself that slow and steady wins the race. You'll find reasons why every growth opportunity is flawed, why every investment is dangerous, and why your current approach is the sensible one. This identity becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy that keeps you exactly where you are. The difference between accumulation thinking and deployment thinking determines whether you build wealth or simply collect money. Accumulation thinking focuses on gathering resources and holding them tight. Deployment thinking focuses on strategic placement of resources to generate returns. One creates stagnation disguised as progress, while the other creates exponential growth disguised as a risk. Your financial habits are actually identity habits. Every time you make a money decision, you're either reinforcing your current identity or creating a new one. The person who saves 20% of their income is practicing the identity of someone who needs to save 20% of their income. The person who invests in growth is practicing the identity of someone who creates value and generates returns. Your money relationship reflects your identity relationship, and changing one requires shifting the other. When you flip from scarcity-driven saving to growth-driven investing, you're not just changing your financial strategy, you're performing an identity transformation that rewires your entire approach to opportunity, risk, and wealth creation. The person spending 120% of their income on strategic growth investments is actually de-risking their future, while the diligent saver is taking the biggest financial risk of all. This sounds backwards, because we've been programmed to believe that spending equals danger and saving equals safety. But this conventional wisdom ignores the hidden costs of playing it safe in an economy that rewards value creation over resource hoarding. Strategic overspending on growth creates compound returns that savings accounts never will. When you invest in skills, experiences, and calculated risks, you're not just buying products or services, you're purchasing increased earning capacity, expanded networks, and enhanced problem-solving abilities. These investments compound exponentially because each new skill amplifies your existing capabilities, each meaningful relationship opens doors to opportunities, and each calculated risk teaches you to recognize and seize bigger opportunities faster. Sarah started her career earning $42,000 as a marketing coordinator. Instead of saving 20% like financial advisors recommend, she spent 30% more than she earned for 3 consecutive years. She invested $15,000 in advanced digital marketing courses, $12,000 attending industry conferences and networking events, $8,000 on a business coach, and even borrowed money to start freelancing while working full-time. Her friends called her reckless. Her parents worried she was financially irresponsible. But Sarah understood something they didn't. She was investing in exponential returns, not linear savings growth. By year 4, Sarah's freelance income had grown to match her salary. By year 6, she left her job and scaled her agency to generate $300,000 in annual revenue. By year 8, she sold that agency for $2 million and started a second business. Her total investment of $35,000 in growth activities generated returns that no savings account could match. Meanwhile, her friends who saved diligently accumulated small nest eggs, but remained trapped in the same income brackets, watching inflation slowly erode their purchasing power. Playing it safe financially is actually the most dangerous long-term strategy, because it guarantees you'll never develop the skills, relationships, or mindset required to create real wealth. The mathematics are stark. If you save $5,000 annually at 4% interest, you'll have approximately $270,000 after 30 years. But if you invest that same $5,000 annually in skill development, network expansion, and strategic business opportunities, and those investments help you increase your income by just 10% each year, you'll generate over $800,000 in additional earnings within the same 30-year period. Each strategic financial decision rewires your brain for abundance and opportunity recognition. When you choose growth over safety, you're literally creating new neural pathways that scan for possibilities rather than threats. Your brain begins to recognize patterns that lead to wealth creation. You start seeing opportunities where others see risks, solutions where others see problems, and potential where others see danger. This rewiring happens at the cellular level, creating myelin sheaths around neural pathways that make abundance thinking automatic. Growth-driven investors deploy money in ways that feel risky, but create wealth faster than accumulation. They invest in coaching before they feel ready, attend conferences in industries they want to enter, purchase courses that stretch their budgets, and take calculated risks on business ventures that savers would never consider. They understand that the cost of inaction always exceeds the cost of strategic action. The act of strategic spending literally changes your neural pathways and self-perception. Each time you invest in growth, despite financial discomfort, you're proving to your nervous system that you're someone who creates value rather than someone who hoards resources. Your brain starts to identify you as an investor rather than a saver, as someone who generates returns rather than someone who accumulates safety nets. This identity shift becomes self-reinforcing, making future growth investments feel natural rather than terrifying. Calculated risks create the very opportunities that savers miss while waiting for safety. While you're building your emergency fund, Growth investors are building their earning capacity. While you're researching the perfect investment, they're learning from real-world experience. While you're waiting for certainty, they're creating certainty through action and adaptation. The transformation from scarcity-driven saving to growth-driven investing starts with a single decision to prioritize capability over comfort. Your future self is making financial decisions from abundance, while your current self makes them from fear. The gap between these two identities is where your wealth lives. Right now, identify 3 specific areas where you've been hoarding money instead of strategically deploying it for growth. Maybe it's that business course you keep bookmarking, the networking event you tell yourself you can't afford, or the mentor you need but won't hire. Every financial decision is an identity decision. Wealthy people became wealthy by disappearing their broke person money habits before they had money to prove it.